and I am really, really excited about the book I'm reviewing, which is, you guessed it, Shades of Earth. And this book was awesome. Really, really, really good. Just go read it right now. Don't even watch this review. You don't need to. You just go read it. But, if you want to keep watching, that'd be great. Because then I wouldn't feel like I'm just talking to a camera, which is just weird. So, but seriously, read it. It's a good book. But obviously, you would need to read the first 2 books first, because if you didn't, you'd be really confused. But this book, I just loved it. I rate it 10 out of 10. And I read it in a day, which actually never happened to me before. I mean, I'm a fast reader, but I've never read a book in literally a day. But this one, I did. I could not put it down. It was so good. It wasn't perfect. There are a few small problems that I had with it, but they're not small enough. I mean, they're not big enough for me to bump the rating down a number. So, 10 out of 10 for this book. And I think I'm going to be doing my reviews a little differently, trying to make them more organized. So I'm going to do a kind of pro and con thing. That way, everything is nice and organized, and it's not just a bunch of me rambling. Because that's pretty much what my last review was, me rambling. So, I'll start with the cons. There are many of them. First one is that the characters didn't seem to change much since A Million Suns. Maybe that was just me, but I really don't think they changed much since the last book. I mean, they're great characters. They are very interesting and just awesome. But I don't know. I always like character development, so I didn't feel like there was much of it in this book, so I would have liked to have a little bit more. Second of all, the kind of semi-love triangle that was introduced in this book. And I don't complain about love triangles. They are great. I love them. If they add something to the story. But this one really didn't. I mean, maybe I'm just saying that because I did not like Chris as a person or as a character. Mostly because, well, 2 reasons. One, I like Amy and Eldest together. They're adorable. So, someone else trying to steal away Amy, not that could happen, because Amy is a person, not a thing that can really be stolen. But kind of Chris trying to mess with their relationship just really annoyed me. And his whole attitude toward Amy I didn't like. Maybe I was interpreting it wrong, but what I got from the book was that Chris had this whole attitude of, you should be with me, Amy. Although apparently he didn't even know that Amy and Eldest were together romantically. Which, I mean, in a way I can understand it, because they weren't exactly advertising their relationship. But in another way, she left his room at night. Shouldn't that tell you something, Chris? But anyway, my second reason for not liking Chris is that he seemed to agree with Amy's father, and I didn't like Amy's father, or anything he stood for. So, yeah. And my third con is that I'm really confused about the First Elder, because he saw the damaging effects of Vitus on his daughter, but then he uses it to control the ship? What? I'm just really confused about that. If I ever met the author, I would definitely ask her, why would the first eldest use Vitus after he saw how horrible it was? Just why? But those are really the only cons. I mean, the book was just awesome. And now, the pros! Yay! First of all, basically everything else is a pro, because this was a great book. But I'll try to be more specific. First of all, I absolutely loved the pace of this book. It was really fast paced. There was always something going on. And I don't always like that, because sometimes I feel like, whoa, slow down. I'm still trying to process the last thing that happened. And I did feel like that in this book, but in a good way. Because there was always something going on, and I really never got bored. It's not possible to get bored reading this book. And if it is, I don't understand how. Second pro is there were a lot of plot twists. There was always new information that characters were finding out. And my personal favorite plot twists were, first of all, the one about Chris and the aliens. Because I didn't like Chris, but I thought it was interesting that he wasn't who he said he was. But I still didn't like him, because he's just a jerk. And I didn't like the other rogue hybrids either, because I get not liking the FRX. I don't like them either. If I was you, I'd be protesting too. But you could protest in a way that doesn't involve killing people. Especially innocent people. Because if they killed Amy's father, it still would have been wrong. But in a way, I would have understood. He was the one who could have reported them, or whatever. But they killed Amy's mother and a bunch of other people who had nothing to do with the FRX. And even the ones that did, like Emma, you can't just kill people like that. First of all, if they had bothered to get to know some of those people, they would have realized that they were good people, that they did not in any way deserve to die. And even Amy's father, I hate him. I really hate him. But you can't just kill someone. It's wrong. So, no killing. But I really don't like Amy's father. I was not sad when he died. I was sad for Amy, but I wasn't sad for him. And the camera's acting weird. Anyway, I can't even put into words my other pros, because pretty much the whole book, except for the cons, is a pro. So, just go read it. Bye.